Let's see if that works. All right, so many times we just get caught up on using the fingers because that's all we know. So the point of today is to really show you how to utilize this whole tool because each thing plays a part. What we're going to do is first start out with creating moisture on our face. So if you order it from me, typically you get 2 samples. And I like to use these samples I actually will add the oil to the calming mist, but today I'm just going to place the oil on my skin. So I want you guys to start placing any type of skincare that you use, anything that you feel comfortable with on your skin. I want you to get your neck, and actually, if you can, I want you to get underneath your collarbone because we're going to be working that area as well. All right? The mist is really nice because this is going to keep the skin moist and fluid. So that's pretty easy. That's all you have to do. Or I do it in the bathtub. I love to do it in the shower. I do it in the car. Once you start, you really understand this, still do it all over. So I'm going to hold up a picture, and I want you guys to take a picture of it. All right? And I want you to keep that on your iPhone when we are doing the acupressure points. We're going to be going over these acupressure points currently. All right? So let's just start up by warming up the skin. And however you want to do it, I had worn my hair down because we're going to do quite a bit of scalp work. But you can put your hair up, you can put it down, however you can get to the back of your neck. We're just going to start warming up the back of the neck. The cervical vertebrae and the muscles along the cervical vertebrae are on the same fascial plane or the same kind of fascial way as your whole spine. So when we start to loosen up the neck and the occipital, we actually can loosen up the whole back. So start to really just go all in that area. I showed you the picture and I'm going to switch to it again super fast to that fascia because this is what you're working on. And the reason I want to bring this up is because we're not working subcutaneous fat. We're not working the muscle. So all we're doing is we've got what I call a pressure 1 to 2. And 1 is kind of a feather light movement. 2 would be movement of the tissue along the muscle. So we're still warming up this back area. Now, this was brought up to me the other day and I thought it was kind of interesting. But if you have a significant other at home or a partner, this makes a great date night because when you do the anma on somebody else, it feels so much better than when you're doing it on yourself. So next, I want you to get the traps because the traps in the arms actually pull down the face. If you're lifting things constantly, we're contracting these neck muscles, but the traps start to create a resistance of lymph, and also it starts to pull the face down. So I want you to go in and really work the traps as well. In the treatment room, a lot of times I like to work the arms all the way down and also the fingers in between the joints. It's nice. I think in another week or 2, I've got a gal coming on. She's a master of gyrotonic, and we're going to be doing an awakening series together. She will be leading it, but she will show you some amazing things that the Anma can do. So just kind of like almost like a dry brushing type thing going in. We're warming up all of the lower portion, the chest, the décolleté. And we're doing this primarily because we want to establish a lymphatic flow. If we haven't cleared out everything that's congested along the décolleté and in the arm area, whatever we release in the face area will get caught and congested. So if you only have a couple minutes, just do this area. And we're going to do the other side of the traps. And again, this doesn't have to be any type of pressure whatsoever that would create bruising, that would create any discomfort. Every now and then, if you roll over a spot of incredible tension, there is a little bit of discomfort, but it sort of feels good in a way. So you're going in, doing that chest area. And now we're going to work all the way to the front of the neck. And we just kind of keep moving. You can see here just the blood flow that's starting to get established. And we're just kind of going back over. And here's where it gets fun, because we're going to use a couple different parts of the anma. So we've kind of warmed all of this up. Now we're going to take the spine and we're going to just kind of hold our hand to the side, and we're just going to kind of brush it all the way. So we're just kind of carrying anything that we loosened up in the fascia and kind of deposit it along the lymph. I'm going to once again pull up this picture and talk a little bit about kind of what we're experiencing inside, what's happening. As we're kind of gliding over, we have loosened up, kind of created a little bit of movement and hydration in that fascia, but within that there was lots of bound toxins. So now we're just taking it all to the side. Next, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go to the next side, all the way. This is really great for clients that have very stagnant, dry, even thyroid issues. If you've got somebody that has ruddy skin, a lot of times when I'm doing a cleansing on a client, I will spend quite a bit of time down here on the mandible. And it's really to kind of gauge if there's any lymph restriction and kind of what I'm working with in the overall health of the client. Next, I like to take, depending upon the density, for me, I use the back, kind of the neck, or if it's a kind of a wider chin or area, I'll use this side. And I like to go. And we just start to do a really nice light movement. And while you're doing this, you might feel like little crunchy noises. You might even feel the crunchiness. And that's just stagnant toxins. So we're really clearing all of this out. We have a lot of letters. And one of the main things that I get is people are super concerned about this jowly area pulling down. And we addressed this last week in the microcurrent live. But we want to stretch. When you see the corners of the lips, when these are pulling down, this isn't just this issue. This is a fascial issue that starts from the décolleté all the way up, something. So when you start to just kind of loosen this slowly, all of this can start to release. And when we can release what's pulling this down, you'll be surprised how the cheeks just lift. So we're just going to kind of go over in this area. And now we're going to start again, just going up and down. Personally, I do more of a cross hatching. I think to me, it feels better. Some people really like to do circles, and that's fine too. It's not again, fascia is multi-directional. It's how you choose to move it. We're just, again, going over a lot like you would if you were dry brushing. We're just moving that tissue. What this does is this creates microcirculation, and we all kind of know the benefit of circulation because it's obvious. A microcirculation is really the ability for the body to feed the cells the nutrition, oxygen, and everything that they receive through the blood. And when we go through menopause, women lose 40 to 60% of their microcirculation. And that is one reason we start to get complaints in the treatment room that their client's skin is dull, or they just don't feel, as refreshed as they used to. And the first go-to for many estheticians is to peel the skin, not thinking about the backlash that possibly peeling the skin over and over again makes about as much sense to just keep removing shingles from your roof because you have leaves, caught in between them. Eventually, the body can't catch up, and you've exfoliated too much, and now you have a whole other host of issues. So just by giving your clients an enema or in doing this, they're increasing their microcirculation. So now I've got an overall flow. I'm going to just kind of quickly, it's like cleaning house. I'm just going to go to the side, clear anything that I received into the lymphatic area, going over all the way. And now we're going to work acupressure points. And acupressure points are different from acupuncture points, and they work, but we're stimulating just in a different way. So we're stimulating along the meridians. It's also known as facial reflexology. There's so many points on the face that correlate with the body. And so we're going to just kind of start out. I'll hold this up one more time. And like I said, you've got, some points down here. I ran out of red dots. The green isn't anything significant. And then we've just kind of got, areas in the chin, all of these areas. And I'm going to show you how the thumbs of the anma were created to stimulate these acupressure points. So we're going to go with first on the décolleté. I just will take one, and I'm just going to put it right here. And if you feel around, right underneath that décolleté, about a finger or two distance from your clavicle, you feel an indent. That's an acupressure point. And sometimes it's sensitive. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to press. And when you're doing this at home, I want you to do it for like a minute. And that's why we're not going to do a minute on each one, because this would be like watching paint dry. So we're going to do about 30 seconds. The cool thing is let's just say you're like out of quarantine and you don't have ample amount of time to do the enema. You can do any bits and pieces of this throughout. So next, I'm going to go to the other side, and I found that tender spot underneath my clavicle, and I'm just kind of going to stimulate that and hold it. And you'll start to honestly feel, when we press these particular acupressure points, which we have them all over the face, this releases a lot of muscle tension. And that's why I kind of thought we should go over, because majority of women tend to hold a lot of tension in the mouth area. And I think that's probably from maybe not saying everything you want to say. one question is, how hard should we be pressing? And that's a great question. Acupressure points, we are going deeper. I mean, use common sense. Don't bruise yourself, but we are stimulating a point in the body. So this is probably, I would say, down to the muscle and maybe even slightly indenting the muscle. Okay, next we're going to move up to the chin area, and this is a great spot. If you feel right in here, you'll kind of feel there's a dent already. That's where this goes. And we're just going to hold that. And now it gets a little bit quicker, and this is what's cool. These thumbs, probably not for everyone, but for the majority, are the distance of these acupressure points. So this next one, you can place right here. Do you see on that chin? And just hold. And you can kind of, dig in there and move around. The cool thing is you do it long enough, and all of a sudden you start to feel the release, and you realize that what I'm telling you just isn't complete bullshit, that it actually is releasing the muscles. Going in. Next, we have little dents right here. And this is a really interesting spot on the face because we have the rissosaurus, the buccinator, the zygomatic major, minor. We have so many muscles that attach here to enable us to smile. And so I really like to go in and work that area. You'll almost feel a little bump. And while you're doing that, you're gonna you can angle your anma, and you can get the stomach and digestion. This is also called like an anti-aging point. This is releasing quite a bit of tension on that side of the face. Sometimes when I do this area, I literally feel it in the back of my head, releasing. And then next, I'm going to kind of come up and underneath the eye. Just kind of holding that area. One thing that's interesting too, when you look at the face, and I'll pull this up again, when we start to look at the muscles of the face, kind of what we were trained to know, where we are on these acupressure points, many times we're really, if you can see, we're many times at junctions and bellies of the muscle. And what this does is it starts to kind of, with this pressure, kind of reset the muscle, so to speak. So here we're right in that belly of the zygomatic. So we're really kind of stimulating that. Here under the eye, the orbicularis oculi is a round muscle. So you're kind of in the center of that area. Then we go to the outside of these areas. And again, you can feel a dent right there. And many times a dent right in that cheek area. And again, sometimes I just hold it And then sometimes I just gently kind of do circles. And this right there, the acupressure point, will release so much of the tension in the temporalis muscle that if you get migraines or you carry a lot of tension in there, it's really nice. And then I'm just going to kind of come up right into the forehead, and you can see it's kind of feel around. Oh, there's that dent. And I'm just kind of going in and stimulating that area. Sometimes the forehead is super tender, and that's just because it's a high action zone. We tend to lift our forehead. We're surprised, we're stressed, we can't see, we squint. So if you have tenderness in the forehead, nothing's wrong. You don't have to go to WebMD. You just are stressed out. Right here, right underneath that eyebrow. That just gets pulled down. Like right now, it's excruciating to be holding it. That's how much stress there is right there. Let's just kind of press in there. And I don't have it, although I could, because there is a pressure point right there. I just don't want to overwhelm you and make this whole on session about pressure points, but they're so viable. And if you only have so much time, or you use this in your treatment room, and if you don't even use the Anma in your treatment room with this, but you give this to your clients, I'll try to have my artists make up something. So now I'm just going again, and this is kind of right at that third eye. And got kind of right in the center again. Kind of holding. While I am holding, I'm going to check over and see if we've got questions or comments. And I think we're pretty good. Oh no, there's lots of questions. You know what, getting older is not the wrinkles to me. It's just the inconvenience of every day having to look at glasses. Okay. I will answer you guys on YouTube real shortly, okay? I'm super excited. To see you all here. All right. So now we've done one side of the face. What I want to do is I always finish up, no matter what you do, always finish up and go to the side. All the way to the side. And you can almost see now the two different sides, how that just kind of lifted and relaxed. And that's just doing the Anma. So let's quickly do the other side. I'm going to start right in that segment, kind of the smile point. And at the same time, I'm going to go right up to the kind of mid-face, and right in that zygomatic. It will make your sinuses drain. And this is the perfect time to be doing it. It just opens all of that up. And when we get to kind of the meat of the treatment, you will see how that really helps. And now I'm going to go just kind of jump over to this eye area. Personally, I grind my teeth at times at night, and this point right here is amazing if you or your clients grind your teeth, because it just starts to kind of reset that whole temporalis muscle. And help calm down the tension. You can kind of do, remember the painful one there for me? And underneath the eye, try that. See if that works for you guys. I don't normally do that to clients in the treatment room because it's a little freaky if they might get a little uncomfortable or claustrophobic. But if you're trying to save time or you are somebody at home that are using the ANMA, this is just great. You know, as I talked about it before, this muscle is called a sphincter muscle. And so if I squint here, I pull everything here. That's why when you see people that get Botox, a lot of times underneath here, they've stopped the movement here, but all of a sudden the body compensates and gives them bunny lines along the nose because the muscle's always going to find a way to move unless you completely paralyze. But this just gives you such a nice, gentle. And I'm just going to go up. And hold. And that again is just real. I did not realize that my forehead's this stressed out. All right, so let's just kind of go to the side. And let's start working the ANMA. I'm going to show you 3 different techniques. One, a lot of clients, or perhaps your clients, or perhaps you struggle with glycation. And glycation is a hardening of the tissue many times around the mouth. Glycation, scleroderma, all of them create like skin that just looks impenetrable. And so how do we begin to address and work with tissue that's in that state? First off, you can't microneedle this, and peeling sometimes, depending upon the peel, can have an impact. But microneedling is going to exacerbate the problem in the long run. So we really want to do microcurrent, but the ANMA is a great way to start because many times, depending upon the level of glycation or hardening of the tissues, we're unable, there's a lot of impedance. And so you might have to have a machine that goes a little bit stronger. But let's assume, just in this area, very similar to the way we worked with microcurrent, I love to anchor, and I'm going to use kind of the back of the neck of the ANMA, and I'm literally holding, and my level of pressure is a level 2. So what that means is level 1 is if I'm just brushing kind of lightly on the top part of the tissue. Level 2 is when I'm brushing the connective tissue right above the muscle. Level 3 is when I'm working in that muscle, in between the muscle fibers and the links. So let's go ahead at a level 2. You can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this, whatever's most comfortable. And I want you to create a stretch. Now this stretch can be really boring. So I'm not going to do this the whole time, or we'll be here for literally a full hour. But I want to create space in that fascia. So again, we're going to go back to that picture, and we're going to look at what we're moving here. So we're, even as light as you're going, you're still making a difference. We're still creating space in that fascia. We're creating just lots of little tiny changes. Imagine those little fibers just moving ever so gently. A great kind of a signal is if you feel a mild burning. Sometimes when you feel like you're stretching something, do you remember being a kid and doing those Indian burns, or maybe your brother did an Indian burn on you? This is a fabulous way to be releasing. We always just show the fast ways of using the Anma because that's what we are. We want everything now. Cool thing about the Anma is if you have clients or people interested, you can, this is great prep for a facelift. One of the first questions I ask, let's do the other side, clients when they walk in and they want to start, an anti-aging routine, I ask them what their end game is. What ultimately do they see themselves doing? And if they are like, well, honestly, at 50, I want to get a facelift, then I set up their aging plan according to the best possible result with a facelift. And the Anma microcurrent LED will always support the cells and the tissue. You can't go wrong. If you start recommending thread lifts, then you're going to get into complications. If you start, looking at fat injections, many times doctors will do fat injections with a facelift, but you can always use the Anma after surgery. So this is what I recommend my clients do that have that really glycated skin. If you don't, and you are young and your skin's in good shape, then just your kind of opening up that we did before is a great way. And one thing you need to keep in mind is whenever I kind of lay out a class, I will give you a format of an ABC 1, 2, 3 until you start to learn it. But then pretty soon you will start to blend it. So let's just say you're kind of going over your face and you're like, gosh, I still haven't quite gotten a release there. Then you can go back and hold that area. And then you might kind of go up and see if you can, anchoring, seeing if we can get some looseness or some space in that area. I kind of use this area, but you can do the same thing with this, kind of opening up. One of the questions I read earlier is, what is the difference between this and a gouache tool? And honestly, it's probably 6 of one, half a dozen of another. I'm not going to tell you that my tool is the only tool and the only way. It's something that I created, so obviously I love it. If you just have like the rose quartz one, you can probably take the corner of that rose quartz and do something. I'm sure you can maneuver around it. I just like the versatility of having one unit. So another question I get a lot is this sinus area and the nasal labial folds. How can we really work on this area? Because that's a telltale sign. A, if we haven't had enough sleep, or if we drank too much the night before, or sinuses. So we have to understand, again, what muscles are at play. So let's go take a look super fast at our diagram and see what we're working here. Okay, so this is one of my favorite little muscles right here. And I'm gonna just kind of highlight it. Of course, I choose yellow, but anyway, you can see this muscle runs right along this nose area, right down. And then we've got underneath the eye area we need to be concerned with. And then we're going to have to make sure that we worked our lymph path, that when we release all of this, we have got a place for it to go. So let's say, like lately, I don't know what it is. Maybe, possibly, it could be wine, but I won't go there. I have been waking up with these weird bags under my eyes. So I've got to be really careful. So I will start like right here. And this is a level 1, 2, not super deep, but I'm trying to drag and open. So you can see here, I'm just kind of going in here, and going out. There. That's a great way. In other videos, I'm going to show you a little bit of inner mouth work, but we're not going to be working that. But a lot of times we can go in and stretch, but we're just going to be kind of holding, kind of going that way. Then I go back and I work those acupressure points. And now I'll go all the way through. So I'm starting here in the corner. Then I'm going right underneath. Actually, I wish you could see this. You can see my eyes literally quivering. And then I'm going to go in there. Another question sometimes people ask is, what if I have Botox? And honestly, I just say wait 2 to 3 weeks after Botox regardless. You usually just don't want to mess around with that. But you're completely fine. This isn't a contraindication to Botox. And then I like to finish up, just kind of go into the side. Lastly, people that buy the Anma are really interested in TMJ and jaw pain because it does. So let's talk a little bit about the muscles associated with TMJ, because when we think of TMJ, we're just thinking of the temporomandible joint. And so one way to go in is to just really create a point right in that joint. And depending upon your sensitivity is going to determine the level or the depth that you go. And you can even go into, from the temporal mandible, you've got another acupressure point, again, about the distance of this. And you're going to go right in there. It's right kind of next to the ear. And that can be painful. I mean, I guess there could be worse, but it's a little uncomfortable. Now, what I love to do after this is I'll go right into the scalp, right into the whole side of the face and neck. Because while we're so focused here, the muscles involved with any type of over occlusion or jaw pain, it begins to trigger the neck. So you really get your sternocleidomastoid, you're getting a little bit of the scalenes, a lot of the trapezius, which kind of runs up here, and your occipital. So you really want to just open that whole area up for you. So let's see. I'm ready to take some questions. I've kind of showed you a lot of the different ways to use the thumbs, the fingers, the spine, the neck. Put on my glasses to see. One thing I did want to make clear is when we were talking about the glycation, I did not say that this would heal the glycation, but it's something that it's a start to get into that, because your microcurrent is going to help with that, but we need to create some type of space and movement, and it really does soften up some of the tissues from that point. All right, so let's see where we are. So questions. Oh, they were in a different YouTube. Jackie, the room will be open, or this whole thing will be recorded, so you'll be able to see it. I do lubricate my skin. For those of you that did miss, I use a mist, and I use a really light moisturizing oil. I choose 302 for the majority of my products and my clients because they're organic where they need to be. They're very simple, very limited ingredients. I love Victoria Deanne. I use a lot of her stuff beforehand. I use Neogenesis. I love. A lot of times I'll use that as a gliding mechanism. It's really kind of where I am, because with the ANMA, it's not product specific. So it's really about how you want to do it. If you're doing the ANMA in the shower, you don't need to use anything. I use it in the bathtub. In fact, I had to figure out how I can, I guess, just wear a swimsuit, but I did a great microcurrent and ANMA treatment on my legs in the bathtub. And I just thought, oh, I got to share this because this is really cool. So we'll kind of go from there. One says, do I teach facial contouring massage to therapists? Yes, I love teaching massage therapists. It's really great. And we're trying something new given the quarantine. I'm going to be teaching online. And this helps a lot of my students in Australia and in Italy, because I really think that we have found a way to create a platform where I'll be able to reach you online versus you having to come to one of the areas. I'll probably still teach in London because I love London in the UK. So if anyone in Italy wants to make it to London, we can do that. Any other questions that I'm not seeing? What is 302? 302 is a skincare line. If you Google 302skincare.com, you can find it. If you go to pro.302skincare, something like that, you can find it. Will I talk about how to do legs with microcurrent? Yes, Jen, I will do that. I'm literally planning to do a show on that. Next Saturday, I'm doing an LED live with me. I think it's really exciting to learn about LED and why it's so phenomenal. So I'm going to talk about the differences of LED machines, and I'm going to talk about why it's a great treatment and why, again, it's one of these things that has to be done, and why you should probably invest in a handheld for your home. Or if you can do it, I'm going to go over the LED bed because I'm literally obsessed with the LED bed I have at my office. I try to do it 2 to 3 times a week. I just feel like I'm in the Matrix. I lay down in it. I'm in an instant meditation and I wake up a better person. It's my thought. Same time, same day. Yes, Saturday, 1 o'clock. So next Saturday, it's LED with me. The following, I'm hoping my friend Karen is available, and we're going to be doing an Anma, and it's called The Awakening. And she's going to, and I kind of held off because I didn't want to show a lot of the new movements, but she's going to really kind of show you just different ways that in the gyrotonic, they have a specialized awakening series, and she's been doing it with the Anma, and she loved it. So I asked if she would graciously share her extensive knowledge. There are very few gyrotonic masters, and she is one. Gyrotonic is a movement that originates from the dance industry that's very fluid. So Pilates is very linear, and that's my training, where we're very taut and lifted. Gyrotonics is very fluid and really loosens up that fascia to create flexibility and movement. I'm going to move from my Zoom super fast over to the YouTube and see where we are. Jackie, I love you. You're so sweet. Teresa, it will be filmed, so don't worry. I do think that my Woman of the World is on, so hopefully your ears are burning, and I'm going to pin you down. Eve, the jowl area. Let me see if I can address those concerns for you real quick. Again, since some of you guys didn't get on. When we think of the jowls, we just, as consumers, we look at something, we look at a wrinkle and we're like, I want to fix that. And that's where Botox has been so phenomenal, because it is an instant gratification and it's a spot treatment. And who doesn't love it? I mean, honest to God, I know I'm not supposed to say I like Botox. I'm supposed to say that I'm 100% natural. But I have to get Botox sometimes once a year, because it's just like all of a sudden I look like a new person. And then I wait, it's like Christmas, and maintain with all of my little tools. But the fact is that these wrinkles aren't just because we're moving the face. And that's where the fascia comes in. Our wrinkles are affiliated with our posture, our flexibility, and many times the bite. And I'm super excited to really start talking about the Oralift. The Oralift is a tool that I have been nurturing now for a year, and it is a mouth piece. I will kind of give you a hint of it. That looks like a mouth guard, and it comes like this, and then you melt it and you put it in your mouth, and you're thinking, well, what, like you're a silent dentist we didn't know about? No, I'm not a dentist, but I get the anatomical structure. And what happens as we age through grinding our teeth is our jaws start to overclude, and dentists call this an over-occlusion. And so many times people that grind go to the dentist, and the good dentist gives them a mouth guard, which is great. But it doesn't address the muscle's response, the lactic acid buildup, and now the reprogramming of these muscles being over tight. And when you have a shortening and a tightening of the muscle in one area, another muscle has to give. It's a give and take. So the Oralift is kind of what I call like the giant reset button of aging. And it's something that I've been teaching estheticians really slowly, and now we're ready to release it to the public. It is something that I strongly advise that you have a coach, because again, when you're working with the body's ability to regenerate, nothing is immediate and nothing is fast. You can release fascia, and many times you can get a really great release, and that release will hold. But if the habit doesn't change that caused that fascial restriction in the first place, you're going to go right back. So it really is a combination between self-awareness, mindfulness, creating new habits, working with a body therapist, massage therapist, a facial therapist, that you can coordinate so many things together. And, they've been doing this in the dental industry with dental facelifts. So those are some of the points that we're going to start talking about more and more in some of these live classes and YouTube. Well, I've kept you long enough. We're at almost an hour. I genuinely appreciate you guys coming and spending this time with me. You're the only people that I really talk to besides my two friends. So I'm super excited to see everyone. I appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, comments, please send me an email. The ANMA you can get through me. You can get it through Christine Beyer. You can get it through the Art of Skin. Many estheticians carry it. If you are an esthetician and you want to carry it, please reach out to me. I would love to get you set up. We will always be offering just endless ideas. And if you are a massage therapist and you have some ideas for me, please share them. I'll post you on my little YouTube live show. So I'm going to check over one more time to see how we're doing on Facebook or on YouTube. You guys are so wonderful. You're saying don't use the Oralift without instructions from a coach. I'm not saying not to use the Oralift without instructions from a coach. If you're fairly confident, then I think, yeah. But I also think that if you're not getting the results right away, does it look like I just woke out of bed or what? You can't just quit. So many people, clients, and you know this if you're an esthetician, and if you're a client, listen up. You can't just quit. You didn't get old overnight. So you're not going to get young overnight either. And when we start to work with the body's ability to heal and regenerate, it takes time. And so that's why I say you need some type of skin coach, or you need somebody that really understands what's happening and that can explain and hold your hand through it. Because any of the tools, the ANMA, microcurrent, LED, microneedling, the Oralift, can be used from now until you're 75. But you have to do it for it to work. You can have the Peloton sitting in your workout room, but if you aren't using it, it's not going to work. You have to use it, just like you have to use your products. What you're seeing on the outside is what's going on the inside. And so that's why I just like to say that, having a skin coach, having someone that really understands and can explain things and talk you off the ledge after a bad selfie to, into getting a facelift really is nice. That's, and we love what we do. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks again. And I will see you next Saturday at the same time. We will be doing, like I said, LED. I will be using LightStim LED. I really like this company. I've used them for a long time. Bring your LED or just bring your notebook and take notes, because we're really going to go into what makes LED, what you want to look for when you're looking at an LED unit, and why not all units are created equal. Mwah! See you guys next. Bye.